Hi traders, today I am going to walk you through step by step my process for finding the next strategy for my live trading portfolio. Now I have not prepared this beforehand, so I don't know what we're going to find today, whether it's going to be good strategies or poor strategies, but I'll walk you through at least the high level steps. If we haven't met, hi, I am Lisa, an algorithmic trader. And after 2 years of constant testing and refining to build a process that will generate strategies that give you the highest probability of working in a live environment. Because as an algorithmic trader, the biggest struggle for me and many others is not finding perfect equity curves that look great. The challenge is to find strategies that look great in the backtest but also work in real live trading conditions. Too many people have perfect equity charts, but then when they take it to trade on a live account, it totally tanks. The tool I will be using today is a combination of Expert Advisor Studio and Express Generator, which does not look as pretty as Expert Advisor Studio, but being a programmer, I want to see if I can automate a lot of this process. So the first 2 steps of my process is to generate the expert advisors and to perform the first level of out of sample test. And this is fully automatically done for me within Express Generator. This is what Express Generator looks like after it's done a full run. You can see I've got a whole bunch of windows open. The first one is on USD Japanese yen because I've got it sorted in alphabetical order, and I'm trading 28 different Forex pairs, and USD Japanese yen is the most recent one. So I'm going to go and close all these windows. The files that are created are all stored for me in C Express Generator collections. And you can see I've got 2 types of files here. They are called in sample files and out of sample files. Now I am not interested in the in sample files, so I'm just going to go and delete them, leaving only the out of sample files. Out of 28 possible currency pairs, here I have 19 potential candidates. I've got my PC set up, so on the left I've got my potential candidates, and on the right hand side I've got Expert Advisor Studio. So what I'm going to do is grab the first one and drag it onto the right hand side. And when it loads, you'll see the in sample data. So that is not what we want to see. We want to recalculate it based on our new date range. And you can see from a glance, it does have some promise from an out of sample perspective. So do I want to keep this? It's not that great. So I'm going to discard it and move on to the next one. The next one is Aussie Japanese yen, and here looks like we've got a total of 16 potential strategies. I'm going to hit recalculate and see if any one of them has any potential. And the top one looks okay. All the other ones down below don't look that great, so I'm going to delete all the others, and I'm just going to keep the top potential candidate. I do that by selecting the download button here, which will download for MT4, and this button for MT5. Next, I open up the strategy. I opened up the report tab and go to journal because I want to export all the trades that are in this particular strategy. And the reason I do the export is because in Expert Advisor Studio, the portfolio function is not that great. You can only build portfolios in this tool using one currency pair and one time frame, which is not the ideal portfolio. An ideal portfolio consists of multiple currencies and multiple time frames, unfortunately, which cannot be done in this tool. So we're going to move to a different tool, which is a Quant Analyzer. There is a pro version and a free version. Today I'm going to show you the free version to show you that everything can be done with just the free version. Now, the Excel spreadsheet that is provided by EA Studio, every single trade is spread over 2 lines. You can see the first line is opening of the trade and the second line is closing of the trade, which is not the format that is needed in Quant Analyzer. So I'm going to rejig this to make sure that every single trade is only on one line. And this is what it looks like after I've done a little bit of funky Excel business. All the trades are on one single line, which makes the file ready to be imported in Quant Analyzer. Remember, this is the totally free version that I am using. So up the top, click Load Report and select the CSV file that was created before. A little pop-up box will appear, press Continue. And when it loads, you can go to the equity chart to see the equity chart trading of about 580 trades. And if I go to the overview, I can see the stats on this particular strategy. Now, is this a good strategy? I let Monte Carlo decide for me. And this particular test has failed Monte Carlo. If you check out all these wiggly lines, you can see it's not looking that great. A lot of them are below the 0 line, so this one does not meet my criteria, which is disappointing if you take a look at the overall equity chart spanning over the past 17 years. But that is the reality of most of my day. I get a whole bunch of potential candidates and 99% of them will fail. Only once every few days do I find a potential strategy that might make it to my live account. We have done one file, the Aussie Japanese yen. Next, we'll grab the Aussie New Zealand, hit recalculate, and this one is not promising at all. So I'm going to delete that and move on to the next one. A lot of strategies will fail this step. Again, this one is not promising. So I'm going to do the rest and come back to you if I find something good. Before we go on, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Trading.com. So they are not a prop firm, but a way to get hedge fund capital and get paid along the way. If you're familiar with the prop firm industry, usually they have like 1 million rules designed to make you fail. But since Trading.com is not a prop firm, they don't have silly rules like trailing drawdowns, daily drawdowns, time limits, or rules on your trading style. You can trade manually, you can trade with expert advisors, you can trade with even commercial expert advisors. They just have 2 rules. So number 1, don't hit the maximum loss of 10%, and number 2, you get moved up to the next stage when you hit a 20% profit target. There's 3 different account types you can choose, the 1K, 2.5K and 5K. Let's pretend you go with the 1K option. Then there's 5 different stages. You start at stage 1, and when you make 20% profit, you get to keep $1,600 of that, and it goes in your wallet, and then you move up to stage 2. And every time you make it to the next stage, you get more money and more payouts. So the last payout after stage 5 is 20K. And at this stage, you're eligible for hedge fund capital. So if you're interested to start your journey to managing real money in a real trading account and get paid for it, then the link to sign up to Trading.com is below. I'm personally building up my portfolio to eventually trade on a Trading.com challenge instead of using commercial robots. And thanks Trading.com for sponsoring this video. Okay, now we have a potential candidate. I have the CAD Japanese yen here, and you can see from the list of different equity charts, this one is actually quite promising. So I'm going to download this particular one and then go and download the journal of every single trade, convert the CSV file from 2 lines, so each trade is on 1 line using Excel Magic, load it into Quant Analyzer for the free version, and run Monte Carlo on this particular strategy, and this one is a borderline pass for my criteria. You can see all these wiggly lines are slowly trending up. Many of them are above the 0 line, some of them are below the 0 line, so this one's not the perfect great strategy, but it does meet my criteria. Next, I need to check what is already in my current strategy pool. So I already do have a Canadian Japanese yen on the 1 hour time frame. So if I load up my old Canadian Japanese yen 1 hour strategy, which is currently in my strategy pool, you can see this one is making a lot more profits. The return on drawdown is higher at 8. So unfortunately, this brand new strategy that only has a return on drawdown of 4.99, it has lower profits and it has a maximum consecutive loss of 12 in a row, does not meet my criteria to be replaced in my strategy pool. A bit disappointing, isn't it? Now, if I didn't have a strategy pool already of about 30 strategies, and I didn't have already a Canadian Japanese 1 hour time frame, then potentially this strategy could come in there as a starting point. But as I find better and better strategies, then they will get replaced, or I add to the pool if I find that both strategies are different enough to go into my potential list of candidates. So the tool I used today to generate the expert advisors for me as a first starting point is called Express Generator. and it is not a tool that is easy to master. It took me as a programmer about 1 year to figure it out and find my first version 1.0 of the workflow, and then another 10 months to find version 2.0 of the workflow. But if you want to hear more about Express Generator and learn the basics, then watch this video right here. Thanks for watching. Bye.